That can't be right. What the hell is that? That says 18 degrees in February. Something has gone wrong with the world. The fact that it is now 18, nearly 20. That was a guy was flying past on a scooter. God damn it! It's nearly 20 degrees in February. I mean, geez, why am I even going to Spain? I don't understand. This is going to be the kind of weather that we're going to experience in February. I don't even know why I'm going to Spain. Well, except for the paella, the roads, and cheap beer. But apart from that, I don't know why. Anyway guys, what is up? Welcome to another vlog. Today is a really cool day. We're basically heading out to Beachy Head on the bikes, me, James and Hugo. You may realize that this is actually not a motorcycle. This is actually a very nice Volkswagen Polo 1.2 litre. I'm driving this to my mum's house where my bike is garaged because we don't have our garage here anymore, unfortunately, because we're moving out. We're going to Spain, so the garage is now cleared out and gone. So my bike's now stored there. So I'm driving there now. I'm really excited about going down there. I heard that it's got some insane roads, some like really nice twisties and things like that. It's going to be such a nice day for it. Gabby's staying at home because she's pregnant, which is really bad of me. I actually feel genuinely guilty, but what are you gonna do? What I wanted to talk about today was like, why did I choose to buy an RC8? Because it's such a rare bike. No one really has one. You don't really see them very often as well. So I kind of wanted to talk about like what my thought processes were kind of buying it and why I didn't go for the bigger brother of it, which is the Super Duke R. You guys know this, you've been watching the channel for a while. I was really keen on. So I'm gonna throw that through, talk to you guys about that. And then also talk about why I bought the KTM RC8 against something like an R1 or an S1000RR or even a CBR 1000RR Fireblade, those kinds of bikes. So we're going to talk about it, but first things first, we're going to go get the bike and we're going to go out to Beachy Head, and I'm so looking forward to this ride. I hope you enjoy this little sequence. I think hopefully I don't crash, but I'll see you when we get back. I'm gonna disturb the nice peaceful countryside. Well, you guys are, I'm quiet as fuck. So back from the ride now. My God, it was absolutely amazing. I've never actually been down to Beachy Head before, and so that road from Seaford Beach to Beachy Head was just, oh my God, it's probably actually one of the best roads, hands down, to be fair, that I've actually ridden around this area. And that says something actually, because we have quite a few like really nice roads around here. The tarmac, I think it's just been redone or something, because the tarmac was such good grip. It was just no crap, no bumps, no nothing, and just really nice tight turns accompanied with some like nice meandering fast turns as well. So like really good fun. What it did show me is that I need to get an exhaust for this really quickly, basically because Hugo and James's R1 and MT10, they both have such an incredible sound to them because of their aftermarket exhaust. Like James has a I think it has a Pipeworks exhaust on it, and before he put that on and before he did a decat on it, it was so quiet, and then afterwards you could just hear it from miles away, but it sounds really good. It's not too loud as well. Hugo's, I think, just came, he bought it with the full Acura system on it, so I'm a little bit jelly of the noise, but we'll get over that, it's fine, because this thing has some really good benefits as to why I bought this over their bikes. This KTM is like 10 years old now, basically. Obviously it doesn't have all the kind of like electronic bells and whistles like their bikes do. It doesn't have traction control, it doesn't have ABS, it doesn't have different power modes. There is something to be said for buying those bikes, you know, and paying a little bit more money and buying something that has those kind of like modern technology, because, you know, it doesn't even have a slipper clutch to this bike. I mean, and it's nearly 5 years older than my old ZX6R, but even the ZX6R had a slipper clutch on it. It's kind of a little bit behind in terms of technology, but there are certain reasons why I did buy it. Now, you guys have been watching the channel for a long time will know that I was looking at, and I was going to buy actually did buy, to be honest, a Super Duke, a 1290 Super Duke R. I actually had put a deposit down on a bike, and it was a 15 plate one. I think it was gonna go, I was gonna get it for about 9,600 quid. What happened was that basically when they were doing the pre-delivery inspection, it turns out that there was a gearbox issue with that bike, and so they said to me, okay, well, we can either fix it for you now before delivering it to you, but that will take a lot of time. They said they had to order in the parts from KTM. They don't know how long it would be on for, because some of the parts apparently were on back order, and they said, we can't give you a real time frame, have your money back, or you can get something else from us. So I looked through their stock, and there wasn't, you know, a Super Duke for the same price and miles. You know, I thought it was a really good deal I got, because it had all the mods that you want to do on it. It had the Rottweiler airbox down, it had a full exhaust system, all of that, and it also came with the standard can. And because I'm taking this to Spain, the Spanish are very strict when it comes to aftermarket parts on bikes, when you're going to do like an MOT, or even worse, registering it on Spanish plates. They're very strict. They literally go through it like a fine-tooth comb, and if anything is not compliant with like noise regulations or whatever, they will fail it, and what am I going to do then, you know what I mean? So I told them, well, I'm really sorry, but then, you know, you don't know how long it's going to be, and obviously I bought this with an intention of moving to Spain with the bike, so I was like kind of worried that if it wasn't fixed by the time that we were going to move, you know, what was I going to do, you know? I would have to come back here and get the bike shipped over, which is going to cost me loads of more money, because obviously we're vanning this down to Spain with Gabby's bike as well, and with all of our stuff. We were going to save a lot of money in terms of transport that way, so I was like, okay, well, I have to have my money back then, I'm really sorry. So it's a shame, you know. I was looking around at loads of different bikes. Funnily enough, the next day, this thing basically just came up on my eBay feed, and I was just like, that's a really good deal, I will buy that. 5.5 grand I bought it for, thereabouts, with 10,000 miles, and it was a completely stock bike. Funnily enough, I hadn't considered really an RC8 at all, because I thought that they were going to be, you know, very expensive to insure. I thought they were going to have lots of problems, as everyone else does. Everyone else thinks, okay, older KTMs, you know, they have to have issues and things like that. And, you know, you read the horror stories on the Facebook forums and whatnot, and you're kind of just like, oh shit, what's going to happen with that? I did some research. I actually came to really like what I was seeing. Now, there were obviously loads of bikes that I was looking at, and I've worked in dealerships, I have lots of friends who ride motorbikes, so I've rode pretty much everything under the sun, and I know how things operate, and I know what I like. I knew that I didn't want another inline 4 engine, like a standard inline 4 engine. I knew that I didn't want something like an R6. I knew I didn't want a CBR 600RR. The 600 inline 4s were completely out for me. And, you know, even with the thousands, I didn't want something that was like when it made all of its power when you were going really fast already, you know, like a Kawasaki ZX-10R. I didn't want something that was like, you have to be going sort of breakneck speeds in order to get that feeling of speed out of it. So I'm actually heading home right now because we have so much packing to do still. It's insane. We're moving in 2 weeks now. We're slowly packing up the house, but when you're moving countries, it's just, there's a lot to do. But the van's all booked now and everything like that. So, you know, happy days with that. I knew I wanted a big V twin because of the torque and because of what they say is like the real world usability. Everyone knows that twins and even the cross plane Yamahas, they have more of a kind of real world power, you know, and real world usability, if you want to use the buzzwords, in comparison to like an inline 4. Doing some research, I basically had looked at the appreciation values of the KTM RC8s, and because they're quite rare, especially in good condition, and especially the original orange ones, funnily enough, they are actually appreciating in value quite well, and well, they're certainly not depreciating in value. And their resale value, funnily enough, in Europe, in Spain, is about £2,000 more than what I paid for this one. I've always been big on buying secondhand vehicles. Most of the depreciation has happened on those bikes and those cars in that time period. The level of depreciation is a lot less if you own it for like 1 or 2 years. And so you can essentially buy it and resell it for what you paid for it. So on all of my bikes that I've owned, I've actually sold them for the same or often more than what I paid for them. So on the R125 I bought that for 1,600 quid and I sold it for 1,900 quid. On the Ducati Monster I bought that for 1,600 and I sold that for 2,100 after putting like 10,000 miles on it. Those bikes are now worth like 3 grand. People are paying a lot of money for those because I guess because of the styling, because people want a cafe race of them or something like this. And on the ZX6R, that was a bike that I made a loss on of 50 quid. So that was a factor for me as well, choosing, you know, to buy an RC8 because their depreciation is really, really low. You know, you don't see many of them around and, you know, everyone's really interested in them. So that was definitely a part as well. And it's funny because after riding around for the last month I've had it, basically, everyone stops and looks and everyone's like, oh wow, that's a really interesting bike. So for me, that was the kind of deciding factor as well. A little bit of uniqueness and a little bit of difference, I think, to what loads of other people have. So right, heading home now. We're gonna go see Gabby and I'll catch up with you in a moment. So this is all the packing so far. The house is looking so empty. It's all getting very real now that we're moving to Spain, but it's really good and I'm super, super excited. Can't wait for the future with me and Gabby in Spain, and it's gonna be such a fantastic adventure, and the baby coming now as well. Things are moving on. Thanks for watching this video, guys. As always, do leave a like. If you did like it, as always, hit the subscriber bell. You know what to do with that. Stay up to date with future content. And I'll see you guys at the ride out on Saturday, 2nd of March. Have a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.